In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a PDF with bleeds and trim marks when your document is originating in Adobe InDesign 2024. So to create a PDF with bleeds and trim marks for print, you need to either set up and or allow bleeds in 3 locations. So this first location is in document setup. So you go to the file menu, you go down to document setup. In this case, I'm going to demo like a standard 8.5 by 11 flyer, letter, whatever. And you'll see down here where it says bleed, you'll need to allow the industry standard is 1/8 of an inch, so 0.125 inches, and you can say OK. That's what puts this red line just outside the edge of your document. Once the bleed is set up in the document setup, then of course the next step would be to actually create the document with a bleed. So what I mean by that is perhaps you want an area at the top of your page where you'll have a solid color. Perhaps there's text that you'll want to put on your document. Maybe there's even a little bottom thing in a similar color. You get the idea. So this is your document. To make sure that the bleed ends up in your PDF, it has to be built in here, and the object that you want to bleed has to go all the way out to that red bleed line. And just in case you're not familiar, this inner line appears from the margins in setup, right here. Okay. Can also be adjusted in the layout tab. You can go to margins and you can set it there. Okay. Then you have the edge of your document. Finally, and that's represented by a black line if you have an object. You can see it's invisible if there's no object crossing the edge of the page. And finally, your bleed. So make sure that object goes all the way on all sides to the edge of the bleed when, of course, you want it to bleed. So that's number 2. The third area where the bleed has to be allowed is actually in the PDF. So let me save this quickly, put it on my desktop as a test document. Okay, say save. Now we'll go to File and Export. Okay, right here. Many times we'll get a PDF and people will create the document with bleeds. They'll make sure they have the bleed set up as 1/8 of an inch, but they'll forget that the PDF needs to allow the bleed to show during export. So that's what we're doing now. So name it whatever you want. Again, assuming in this case that the PDF should be the same name as the original document. Okay, PDF format is PDF print. We're going to hit save. Now this is where the magic happens. So in the PDF presets, I've created one already that we use internally called ProPrinter's Bleeds and Crops. But whatever the name of it is, even if you have some of the other ones, if you don't have ours installed, start with high quality print. Okay, turn your compatibility all the way up. Then in the marks and bleeds section here, you'll see by default, these are all turned off. So there's no trim marks, there's no bleed allowed. Even though you've set up the bleed in the document, it will not show in the PDF because we're not telling the PDF to allow the bleed to be seen. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn on our crop marks. We're going to say use the document bleed settings. So it automatically, it may be difficult to see, but it's grayed out because it's grayed out, but it's the 0.125 like the document setup window was. And then we're going to go ahead and hit export. When we do that, now this is the PDF. So you can see now here are the trim marks, and you can see that this blue box that we want to bleed off the edge is now going past that trim out and now is allowed in the final PDF document. If we hadn't done that, this blue box would stop right at the trim and we will not be able to produce it with a bleed. So that's it. If you have any questions, of course, let us know. Our phone number is 518-828-3278, and we'd love to help out. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.